Let's just come into a comfortable seated position, and Sukhasana is great this morning, just cross-legged. If you prefer half lotus, you can take the outside of the foot, one foot into the opposite crease of the thigh and hip, as long as that feels comfortable. And then just let the hands rest comfortably on the knees, either palms facing up or hands down. And then close your eyes. Just take a moment here to settle into this time and space. And feel the shoulders relaxing away from the ears. The base of the body being drawn towards the earth. And at the same time, feel an internal lift through the pelvic floor, through the navel, through the spine, through the crown of the head. And as you grow taller, continually feeling more and more tension in the body, releasing, melting away. And with that, there is more of that internalization. So as you feel the body softening, the mind growing a little quieter, turn the attention towards the breath and just observe for a few moments here how you're breathing this morning. Is it rushed? Do you feel the breath is long and deep, or somewhere in between? And of course, the familiarity on the mat here is helpful as the body and mind respond to that familiarity, coming back to the awareness that you were in when you left it the last time. So it's much easier to find that deep breath when we have that established practice. So bringing your awareness to the tip of the nose, watch the breath come in through the nostrils, trace it to the midbrain and then down the spine, all the way to the root. Feel a relaxation of the pelvic floor as it moves all the way down to the very base. And then exhale, feel a slight lift of the pelvic floor as the breath begins to be pushed back out from the abdomen, through the rib cage, through the chest, back up to the midbrain, and then gently out through the nostrils. And a few rounds here of watching this slow, smooth breath come in and go all the way down. Remember to relax the pelvic floor on inhalation so that we can get the breath as far down into the body as possible. And then exhale, feel the engagement of the pelvic floor as we're pushing the breath out. And the abdomen pushes, and the rib cage, and the chest, and it finally comes back up and out through the nostrils. And as you're breathing, if you'd like to add in that ocean wave or whisper type sound, the ujjayi breath. And just let that be soothing to the mind, soothing to the nervous system, as well as its physiological benefits of warming the breath and filtering it. And then continue to watch the breath, but focus a little bit more of your attention on the pelvic floor, so that as the breath comes in and goes down and the pelvic floor relaxes, you can almost feel like an opening or a spreading sensation into your bolster or into your blanket. And then on the exhalation, as the breath comes back up and out and the pelvic floor lifts, almost think of that like an elevator, slowly lifting up deeper into the body, and then the breath then, of course, leaving out through the nostrils. So this engagement, this release of the pelvic floor muscles is very helpful for stimulating a quality that we talk about in yoga called the Apana Vayu. And the Apana Vayu is helpful in elimination, governing elimination on all levels, so physical, mental, and emotional. And we can think of elimination in more psychological terms in the idea of letting go. And so we're in that time of year again when the seasons are changing. And this, we had 75 degrees the other day, and today we're back down to 40. So this constant fluctuation of these extremes can be very destabilizing. This is why we tend to see a lot more people getting sick this time of year. So we call that Vata season, and when Vata is really high, we have to do things that help to soothe our nervous system. We have to do things that slow us down. It's helpful to get into a schedule, to take only one thing at a time instead of excessive multitasking. And some of the dysfunction of Vata can show up as constipation or inconsistent digestion. We can also see it as inconsistent menstruation. And also just this feeling of being ungrounded or destabilized. So recognizing that not only do we have some of that going on in the world right now, but also we have the seasonal component. This is a time when we really want to bring in more of these Vata reducing practices. We want to reduce this type of energy. So this breath that we're doing here of breathing in and down and feeling the pelvic floor relax and then engaging the pelvic floor, that stimulation there and consciousness in that lower part of the body helps to increase the Apana Vayu. And our practice today is going to be to work with Vata reducing postures and practices, including some binding, very helpful for reducing, some bandha work, but also just going slow, taking our time with our practice is one of the most helpful ways we can reduce Vata. And Vata tends to accumulate in the hollows of the body. So we find that our joints become more stiff when the Vata is high. Vatas tend to be the people who end up getting arthritis or these kinds of joint conditions. So we're also going to be doing some work with the joints today to help push any excess Vata out of those areas of the body. And one last thing as you're just sitting here continuing this breath is to recognize that our diet and lifestyle plays such a significant role in our experience. And so Vata reducing diets tend to have more cooked foods, more cooked vegetables, warming foods, things that help to stimulate digestion. Some of your warming spices, either the warming sweet spices or some of the warming but not overly spicy spices as well, like cumin. So these are all very helpful for stimulating digestion. So let's take 3 more full breaths here. Ujjayi breathing all the way down to the pelvic floor and all the way back up. And then when you finish that 3rd breath, just bring your hands to your heart and bow your head to your hands. So we'll set that as our intention for the practice today, to be reducing this Vata, excessive Vata energy. And if there's any area that you feel like that maybe that's come into your life a little bit, maybe it's physiological, but maybe you're feeling it mentally, feeling scattered or anxious or worried or fearful. These are all dysfunctional Vata qualities. Or maybe emotional. Maybe you're feeling Vata emotions. Whatever it is, bring that into your intention and make the intention more personal to you. And then all of that gets placed here in the heart and just surround it with unconditional love and compassion and patience. And then we begin with the chant of Om 3 times. And we'll take a nice long chant. Ah vibrating the lower portion of the spine, O vibrating the middle portion of the spine, and vibrating the upper portion. So deep inhale. And a long exhale out. Got another deep inhale here. And then just gently lower your chin to your chest. Release your hands to your knees. And take your time to open your eyes, gently coming back into the room. So if you're in half lotus, we'll switch the legs here just to make sure that we spend some equal time on both sides. So opposite foot into the crease of the hip and thigh. And certainly if you were in Sukhasana, you could switch legs there too. So we'll start with the neck and lower the chin to the chest. And then just inhale the right ear to the right shoulder. Exhale, bring the chin back down to the chest. And inhale the left ear to the left shoulder. And then alternate back and forth, chin to chest. Inhale, right ear, right shoulder. And chin to chest, left ear, left shoulder. And so you're just making this half moon shape. We don't go all the way around with the neck. We don't want to crunch the back of the vertebrae. And so as you're moving back and forth here, just kind of move at the pace that feels right for you. If you find there's a spot that feels really good and you want to stay there for a few extra moments or extra breaths, that's perfectly fine. And just starting to release some of the accumulation there in the neck area. And as the weather gets cooler, we tend to also grip this area of the body as well. One more to the right, one more to the left. Very nice. And then just bring the chin back down to the chest, come back to neutral. We'll extend the arms out in front of us, thumbs in, fingers wrap around. Just making these fists, we're going to do small circles with the wrists. So going in one direction, and sometimes the dominant hand likes to take over. So see if you can get the weaker side to match the dominant side in the rotation. And then go in the other direction. And just clearing out some of that excess air or wind, Vata in the joints. Good, and then gently give it a shake. You're going to take your right arm out in front of you, and the left arm goes over, but the palms come together. Interlace your fingers, thumbs are pointing down. Start to take those thumbs toward your heart, and you're going to rotate through the wrist here. Now, if you're tight in the wrist, maybe just stop at that first area of sensation. It might be a lot. It might be able to get the arms very far out in front of you, or maybe they're pretty close to the body. But whatever it is, they're doing a nice deep twist here for the wrist. So just take a few moments to breathe into that, honoring wherever you're at. noticing sensation. And I know many of us are on our technology more than we probably prefer to be, especially these days. So the wrists, the hands are getting much more function and experience on those devices than they usually do. So we want to be really mindful to take care of them. And then switch it out. So unwind and then cross the right arm over the left. Palms are together, interlace the fingers, thumbs are pointing down, and then take those thumbs towards the heart. And you might find there's a difference between one side and the other. So just, again, honor where your wrists are today. Some of you may be able to have the arms all the way straight. And breathe into it. Good, and then gently let that go. Take a little bit of a shake again, nothing too crazy. Fingertips to the floor, right fingertips down. Inhale the left arm up. Walk the right hand out. Place the palm flat, and now push the left sit bone away from the side body. So you're opening up all that space in the waist, through the rib cage, reach the fingers to where the ceiling and the wall meet, and breathe here. And if you want to, just take the right ear to the right shoulder. So we'll continue to open the neck there, softening any tension that might be residing in the neck area. Now, inhaling full breath, chest, ribs, belly, get it to the pelvic floor. On the exhale, feel that the breath starts on the pelvic floor as you pull it in and up, then navel pulls in, then rib cage, then chest. Good, one more here. And then lift with this left arm on your next inhalation, come all the way back up to seated. Take a moment to just sit and feel the difference between the right side and the left. So with Vata, our sensitivity tends to grow. And take in those moments of experience from your practice. Good, left fingertips down to the floor. Inhale the right arm up. Elongate that side body and then walk the hand out. So again, here too, right sit bone is now pressing away from the side body, opening all that up. Breathe into that space. Let the left ear soften towards the shoulder. And notice, is there a difference between the right side and the left? Which one has more room? Remembering that breathing pattern all the way down, all the way back up. And last one here. And then slowly come back to seated. Now take the fingertips on top of the shoulders, so fingers in a finger stand, and then begin to do full circles with the shoulders here. So all the way around, rotating. It doesn't take much if we have a lot of stiffness here in the shoulders to really feel some of that. And just know that this rotation is helping to lubricate that joint. And then go in the other direction. Good, one more round here. A breath. And then release. Just take a moment to feel again all the warmth rushing into the shoulders, helping to heal that area of the body. All right, release this foot and come forward for a moment onto your knees. And have your fingertips pointing towards your knees, palms flat into the earth. And then start to lean your weight back just a little bit into the hips. And as you do, you're going to feel that nice stretch there along the inside of the forearm, all the way down again to the wrist. A little different than what we were doing before with the wrist. So we could hit a couple different areas here of the body. And then breathe into that. And it sometimes is surprisingly sensitive. If we don't stretch this area often, just like any other part of the body, it'll get stiffer and stiffer. And then you're going to release that. Sit back on your heels for a moment. Again, just a gentle shake. Just a little releasing. We're going to do something similar now, but we're going to come forward with the backs of the hands onto the floor, fingertips pointing in toward one another. And a little micro bend in the elbow. You're going to now lean your weight forward into the hands, and you'll know where to go based on sensation. And then if you'd like to make it a little deeper, you can make little fists. So squeezing the fist and then releasing, and then squeeze and release. Again, just another way to access that wrist and the forearms as well here. Go one more. And sit back on the heels. This time as you sit back on the heels, tuck the toes behind you so that you're doing, sometimes they call this broken toe pose, but it's just a horrible name. So as you're stretching into the metatarsals here, just hands rest comfortably in the lap, heart is lifted, and really concentrate on your breathing. So inhaling in and down to the pelvic floor, and that pelvic floor lift as you push everything back up and out. And it doesn't take too many here to really start to feel, too many breaths here to really start to feel some sensation in those toes. And again here too, if we're not used to stretching into them, they become more and more stiff over time. So just a few more breaths. And sometimes I find for myself that as sensation builds, I do these funny things in my body where I try to pull away from the sensation. But if you can just stay in it and settle, keep the shoulders away from the ears and continue to breathe. One more breath here. Good, and then come forward, place the tops of the feet down into the mat. And it could take a moment or two to do that. It might be a little sensitive. And now we're going to point the fingertips back behind us towards the toes. Stretch into the heart here and the tops of the shoulders. So getting that chest to open, lift the sternum, breathe deeply into the front side of the body. And then if you want to keep going and it's comfortable, you're going to lift your knees off the floor and just feel that little bit of stretch there for the tops of the toes again, as well as the tops of the feet. And then roll back off of that. Come forward into tabletop position, and now lift the feet off the floor and rotate the ankles in one direction. And then rotate the ankles in the other direction. Simple stuff, but yes, we don't often take the time to do it, and it really does make a difference. All right, we're going to come back into seated position for one more moment here, just cross-legged. Take one foot on top of the knee, whichever one is more comfortable, and we're going to weave the fingers in between the toes. So you're going to get the fingers as far down between the toes as you can. And try your best to get the meaty part of the finger, so that thick part down there. And if the toes are tighter, they don't get a lot of movement, you're going to find that this is pretty sensitive. So start to do the rotations of the ankle here as well. And I like to take my opposite hand and just massage the inner foot as I do this. There's a lot of these pressure points here in the foot. We understand from reflexology, this inner foot represents the spine. So you might find as you're going through it, maybe some sensitive areas along that inner rim. Digestion is more in the center of the foot, so you can try getting your thumb down there and doing some pressure points and just kind of see how that feels. It's amazing. We could take a golf ball underneath our foot, and it helps to release the fascia all over the body just from a few moments of rolling. We can save ourselves some time in our practice of warm-up just by that little simple move. Now, pull your fingers off of your toes and then give it a little shake and get that excess energy away. And then switch sides. And notice the warmth now in the foot, particularly in the toe area. And then we'll do the other side. So get the left fingers all the way down, or whichever side you're on. Fingers all the way down in between the toes, especially that meaty part of the finger. And it's a little tender at first, but then it gets a little more comfortable. You can rotate the ankle if you'd like. And again, take the opposite hand and just do some pressure points with the thumb along that inner spine. And then one more full breath here, continuing to rotate. And now pull the toes. Release that excess energy, shake it away, flick it away, and feel the warmth there in the foot. Let's come into tabletop position. Hands directly under the shoulders, knees under the hips, tops of the feet pressing down. On the inhale, just lift the heart, lift the sit bones, look up. Just feel that opening of the anterior portion of the spine. And then exhale, push down into the hands, knees, and feet, and open up that posterior spine. And repeat that again, just cow-cat, inhaling, heart lift, sit bones lift, little lift in the lower belly so we're not dumping into the low back, and then exhale, lift the pelvic floor, lift the navel, push deeply into the hands, knees, and feet, and just keep going. So even though we don't always think of it like this, then all those little vertebrae in between our joints, and they have their own way of moving, both anteriorly and posteriorly, as well as some rotation and a little bit of lateral flexion. And so as we feel them moving here, notice, is there any area of the body that's calling out to you? Maybe there's some more sensitivity in the low back or upper back. And then one more here. We're going to inhale, lift the heart, lift the sit bones, look up. And then exhale, sit on your knees again, or excuse me, your heels again, and just rest. Just doing that to give you a little bit of a break here from your wrists. Now we're going to go back into tabletop position, and this time we're going to bring in a little bit more movement for the hip joint. So hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, same thing as we did a moment ago. And you're going to bring the knee in, and then you're going to bring it out to the side like a fire hydrant pose. Bring it back into your chest, and then out behind you. So it's knee into chest, out to the side, in, and back. And you're going to go kind of quickly with this. So let the legs kind of have this feeling of almost like swinging there in the hip joint. And it doesn't take too many of these to start to feel maybe some sensitivities there, maybe some weakness, stiffness. And just one more here. And sit back on your heels again. Give your wrists a break. And observe. And then come forward again. We'll do the other side. So now left knee into your chest, then out to the side like a fire hydrant. Bring it back in, knee to chest, and then back behind you. So in, out, in, back. And just let it start to go. Take some speed there with that movement. Help to lubricate that joint. And if you were listening, I had mentioned that, in order to help reduce Vata, we need to actually slow down. So this seems a little counterintuitive, but the reality is that we can't just go from 100 down to 10 if we were speeding in a car. We have to take our time. So using some of these joint exercises that do have a little more mobility, a little bit more movement to them, helps to pacify the initial Vata. And then we can start to move more and more towards a slower pace. So one more. And then sit back and rest. All right. Sit back into tabletop position. You're going to inhale, lift the heart, lift the sit bones, look up. And exhale, this time to downward facing dog. Now in downward facing dog, let's move the feet a little bit. So bend one knee and press the other heel down, but then stay back with that sensation. So really anchor into the heel as much as you can. Draw your weight back into the leg. Breathe deeply here. Keep feeling the navel and pelvic floor drawing in and up on exhalation. And then switch. Bend the other knee and press the other heel down. And again, stay back with that sensation. Notice if there's any difference between the right side and the left. And then bring the knees down. Bring the elbows down into your mat and wrap your hands around the middle part of the arms. Either interlace the fingers, press the forearms down, or have the forearms parallel, hands spread wide. Tuck the back toes under and come into dolphin variation of down dog. So it's very similar to the other one we were just in a moment ago. And here we're going to wiggle the toes back a few inches and do some dolphin push-ups to warm up the shoulders. So as you exhale, take your chest over your forearms, tailbone under, lower belly lifts. And then inhale, reach the sit bones back up and away. Exhale, chest over forearms, tailbone under, lower belly lifts. Inhale back up. And keep going, inhaling, exhaling at your pace. And you might find that it doesn't take too many to start feeling some warmth there in the shoulders. And so everybody has their own pace. If you need to come down and rest, we'll rest in child's pose. And if you're still going, how about 3 more? And then bring knees to floor, sit bones to heels. Rest in embryo, so the back of the hands move towards the heels, round the upper back, let the shoulders completely soften. Feel the belly breathing into the thighs. Last breath. Good. Inhaling back to tabletop position. So we're going to move into some bandha work, as I had mentioned, just helping to create that deeper relationship to the pelvis, the navel center, as well as helping to reduce Vata. So we're going to inhale, lift the heart, lift the sit bones, look up. Just like we did a moment ago, tabletop, we're going to exhale all the breath out of the body here. So lifting the pelvic floor, squeezing the abdomen, ribs, chest. Now keeping the breath held out, move up and back into downward facing dog. And as you do, deepen the suction of really pulling that navel in and up underneath the rib cage. And then when you need to, inhale, come back down. Heart lift, sit bones lift, full breath in. And then again, exhaling all the breath, leaves the body, purge the body of breath, squeeze it out. Now hold the breath out, don't breathe in, and lift the sit bones up and back. And as you do, really draw that pelvic floor, navel in and up so there's a hollowing out sensation in the belly, and even the chin can move a little closer to the sternal notch. Inhale when you need to, come back to tabletop. And 3 more like that on your own, please. Each time, perhaps deepening the suction. And on the last one, we'll come back to sitting on our heels. Take a moment. Find that perhaps more of the awareness is down into the abdomen. Let the breath settle. Let the wind, the air element in the body settle. Good. And then come forward again. Tabletop position, heart lift, sit bones lift. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. And then we'll just come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look at the hands, and step forward to your fingertips. And open your feet hip distance apart. Hang into standing forward fold. So keep a little micro bend in the knee. Let the upper body really soften so there's no tension there in the upper back. And breathe deeply here. Each exhalation taking the belly further and further in and up underneath the rib cage. Just keep your hands grounded on either side of the foot, and do pay attention to where you're holding your weight. So don't sink in the heels, don't lean too far forward in the balls of the feet. Find that beautiful balance right in the center. And same thing, inner foot and outer foot. We have a tendency to collapse more towards the outer foot. So find the inner foot, find the arches of the feet activated, and the body weight nice and stable in the center. Keep relaxing tension. See, with each exhalation, can you soften just a little bit more? Finding new layers to release. Noticing not just the grounding through the hands, but also through the feet. Any excess energy, let it go. Good. Now to balance out, we're going to bring the hands to the hips. Come halfway up and take your time. Take your time, move slow. Stay there for a moment. Just feel. Crown away from tailbone. Heart forward, shoulders relaxing down the back. And then slowly come the rest of the way up. Take your time. And we'll find standing mountain pose, Samavrtti. And as everything settles, feel the blood just kind of pulling down from that crown back into the body, flooding the digestive area, flooding the legs and feet. All right, just a few more joint postures before we move into more true asana. So we're just going to swing the arms back and forth a little bit here. Again, for the shoulders, really helpful to do this. And it seems so simple, but it's just that mindfulness to remember to do it. That's the key. Now we're going to bend the elbows and make fists and pull them back. So you're bending the elbows back behind you, swinging the arms in between. And you can feel that as you're doing this little bend to the elbow here, that opening up of the chest. So getting a little bit of movement there in the shoulder blades. We get so tight in that upper back. And again, especially if you're sitting at computers more than you usually would be. All right. And then just let the arms kind of swing back down to your side. Let them go. And settle. And then have the feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. So just slightly to the outsides of the shoulders. And we're going to do some twisting, but as we twist, I want you to turn and pivot on the ball of the foot. That way we're going to make sure that there's no stress on the knee. So we'll turn and let our arms just swing back and forth from side to side. And at first the head can follow the movement of the torso. And I always like this because it shows me, oh, where have I become kind of stiff in my spine? Or is there any bilateral inconsistencies? And make sure you're pivoting on the ball of that foot, just to protect the knee. Okay, now if you're feeling more comfortable, try keeping your head forward as you do this. And so that's going to force a little bit more rotation into the vertebrae. And if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, then just go back to gazing at the same angle as the torso. Good, just a few more. And then once again, we'll just kind of let things settle. Arms will slow down. And then stand, Samavrtti, and just observe sensation. And it doesn't take very much, but can you observe that there's more energy flowing through the body? A little less stiffness, maybe some warmth. So as we age, these joint practices are really essential for us to do pretty frequently. And they don't take very long. So we're going to come to the front of our mats for some sun salutations. We're going to do sun salutation A, but now we're going to start to really slow the pace down a little bit. So big toes are touching, space between the heels, hands together in front of the heart, or feet hip distance if that's more comfortable. Surya Namaskara A. You're going to inhale for 1, 2, and then begin the arms reach up and over the head. Exhale, pause here for 1, 2, and then fold over the legs. Now start the inhale for 1, 2, and then come into monkey pose. Exhale, 1, 2, and then step back to plank position with knees to floor, squeeze tight chaturanga, come all the way down. And then pause, 1, 2, inhale into cobra, elbows and shoulders pull back. Exhale, 1, 2, and then begin downward facing dog. Stay here for 5 full breaths. And the idea here between pausing, or rather breathing first and then beginning the movement, is to slow the mind down. The mind always likes to jump ahead, preparing for the next thing. So beginning with the breath helps to calm it down. Okay, remember to hollow out the belly. Get that same feeling we had a few moments ago when we were doing the bandha work. Nice, slow, deep breaths, very nourishing to the body. And then at the completion of your 5th breath, come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look at the hands, step or lightly hop forward. Inhale, 1, 2, and then begin monkey pose. Exhale, 1, 2, and then begin the forward fold. Inhale, 1, 2, and then begin the arms reaching up and over the head. Exhale, 1, 2, and then the arms come down by the side. Good, let's do that again. Inhale, 1, 2, the arms reach. Exhale, 1, 2, begin the forward fold. Inhale, 1, 2, begin monkey pose. Exhale, 1, 2, plank position. You can leave knees lifted if you want this time as you come down to chaturanga. Pause, 1, 2, inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, 1, 2, and then come back to down dog. Here we'll take our 5 full breaths. Remember that sensation on the inhalation of the pelvic floor spreading wide, allowing as much breath in there as possible. And then that imaginary elevator as you lift the pelvic floor on exhalation. Two more. Keep relaxing head and neck. Last one. And then at the bottom of the exhale, you're coming onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look at the hands, step or lightly hop forward. Begin your inhale, 1, 2, and then monkey pose. Exhale, 1, 2, and then forward fold. Inhale, 1, 2, and then arms reach out wide. Exhale, 1, 2, and then arms to the side. Good, just one more round. Inhale, 1, 2, and then the arms move. Exhale, 1, 2, and forward fold. Inhale, 1, 2, monkey pose. Exhale, 1, 2, plank chaturanga your way. Inhale, 1, 2, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, 1, 2, downward facing dog, 5 breaths. So if the mind is caught up in that really busy pace, multitasking a lot or doing a lot of things, sometimes that going slow can be a little irritating. And that's okay. If that comes up, that's perfectly fine. But after you begin to quiet and slow down a little bit, it actually becomes quite nourishing and enjoyable. Now, we have to meet ourselves where we are today. Last 2. And then at the bottom of that exhale, come onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, look at the hand stepper, lightly hop forward. Begin the inhale, 1, 2, monkey pose. Begin the exhale, 1, 2, forward fold. Begin the inhale, 1, 2, lift and rise. Begin the exhale, 1, 2, arms down by the side. And you can either bring them to your heart if you prefer, or just leave them by your side, but rest for a few moments here in Samasthiti. Just stay. And again, just notice prana moving in the body. And some of that scattered energy, some of that busy energy, starting to become more and more stable. Maybe feeling the base of the body, the legs, pelvic floor, feet a little bit more. Good, one more breath here. All right, so we're going to do just a little vinyasa. We're going to have the feet hip distance apart here, hands together in front of the heart. So inhale, the arms reach up. And exhale, forward fold. So nice long spine as you go down. Turn the toes out, heels in. Inhale into squat. You can bring your hands to your heart if you'd like, elbows on the insides of the knees. Then exhale, back to forward fold. Turn the toes in. And then inhale, the arms reach out wide, flat back as you come up. And repeat it from here. Exhale, forward fold. Turn the toes out, heels in. Inhale into squat. Exhale, turn the toes back in, forward fold. And inhale all the way up. So we're just going to continue that. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, squat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift and rise. So as you're moving nice and slow at your own pace with your breath, Uttanasana. Inhaling Malasana. Exhaling Uttanasana. Inhaling Urdhva Hastasana. Good, one more round. Let the mind become very stable, meditative movement. Completely linked with the breath. And this time, exhale, just bring your arms down by your side and rest. Okay. So we're going to actually step our left foot back, and if you need some support in a forward fold, then you may want to have the blocks on either side of that front foot. And you can bring the blocks as tall as you need to bring the floor up to you. Stepping the left foot back, we're at about a 2.5, 3 foot stance, back toes pointing towards the upper left corner of the mat, and your hips are squared. So I like to think of if I had flashlights and I was shining them forward, I would be able to see 2 circles rather than 2 long beams. And then we're just going to move in and out dynamically here. And hands are going to either go behind you, grabbing onto the elbows, and if that's too, if you have some more flexibility than that, we'll come into reverse namaste. So we're going to really use the legs and feet here, feeling that deep sense of stability and grounding. So inhale, lift the chest, lift the heart, and then exhale and just come to halfway. And you can keep a little micro bend in your knee if you'd like. You're reaching the crown of the head away from the tailbone. Keep the head, neck, torso, tailbone in a straight line. Inhale, push into the feet. Squeeze the inner thighs toward the midline as you come back up, filling the lungs. And then exhale again, coming down just to halfway. Really reach sternum from pubic bone. Inhale. Exhale, halfway. Continue to feel anchoring through the legs, the feet. Squeeze the muscle to the bone in the base of the body. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Navel hugs the back body. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. This time we're going to go all the way down. So lengthen, lengthen, lengthen over that front leg, and then bring the fingertips to the floor. If you have to use the blocks, then place the hands on the blocks. We're going to put the fingers in a finger stand, and so we're going to do what we call a sthiti, which is to inhale, pull the chest away from the thigh. It's almost like you're feeling like you're coming into monkey pose. And then exhale, the navel hugs the back body as you fold more deeply over that front leg. And do that again. Inhale, lift the sternum, pull away, get as much space in the spine as possible. Exhale the navel in, sink a little more deeply. And just one more like that. Inhale, pull away, create the length and space first. And then exhale. And now we're going to stay in the pose. So you're welcome to just stay here. Head and neck is relaxed. Let that upper body sink, hands grounded into the earth or into your blocks. And keep hugging the inner thighs toward the midline. So you can imagine you had a block between them that you were holding on to. And now take your attention into sensation and really feel like you could move through the layers, not by force, but by relaxing, by letting go. That quality we spoke of at the beginning of the practice. So whatever's holding you back there, whether it's a physical limitation or a mental blockage limitation or even an emotional one, just continue to soften and relax and see if you can release some of it. Head and neck is relaxed. Good. One more here. Now, come halfway up again like it feels like you're in monkey pose, and then bring the hands back behind you. And again, are you grabbing onto the elbows, coming into reverse namaste? Hold that halfway up and reach the crown of the head away from the tailbone and see how long you can get that upper body. You can keep that micro bend in the knee. Better to protect the knee joint, better to protect the back body. And then one more full breath here. Hug the navel towards the back body. Grounding into the feet, inhale, come up. And then exhale and step the back foot forward and just come into standing mountain pose. Arms by your side and observe. So we were there for a while. Notice what's happening on that right side of the body. And settle in, relax. Good, and then we're going to do the other side. So we're still in feet hip distance. Step the right foot back. And now we've got that same positioning here for the legs, about 3.5 feet. Hips are squared forward, right toes pointing towards the upper right corner of your mat. And again here, if you're grabbing the elbows, see if you can grab them the awkward way, so the opposite way of how you did it last time. Or perhaps you're coming back into that reverse namaste. So inhale, lift the heart here, open up that front body. And then exhale, really anchor into the feet and just come halfway down. Press into the feet, inhale, come up. Breath fills the body all the way to the pelvic floor. Now exhale, engaging the legs, pelvic floor, nice and stable as you come halfway down. Good, 3 more with your breath, please. Inhaling. Exhale, nice and slow, head, neck, torso, tailbone in a straight line. Inhale. Exhale. And one more. And this time you're going to go all the way down. So take your time, lengthen over that front leg. Get the most space in the vertebrae as you can, and then bring the hands to the floor. Head and neck is relaxed here. Navel hugs the back body. Of course, if you need the blocks, place your hands on the blocks. Take just a few moments here to settle in, really feeling the stability of the legs and feet. And then we're going to begin those sthitis, those fingers in a finger stand on the floor block. Inhale, pull away. Feel like you're in monkey pose. Sternum reaches from pubic bone. Exhale, hug the navel more deeply into the body. Belly's out of the way as you fold. Repeat it again. Inhale, come forward. Elongate. How much space can you create? And then exhale, navel in as you fold. One more. Just incrementally moving a little deeper into that forward fold, and then you're going to stay. So once you're in it, doesn't matter how far down you are, just relax the head and neck, and now breathe. So the base of the body stays firm and engaged. The feet are strong, squeezing the muscle to the bone in the legs, particularly squeezing those inner thighs toward one another. But the upper body's soft and relaxed. Shoulders are relaxed. Head and neck is relaxed. Feel your breath all the way into the pelvis. Feel that slight elevator as it pulls up and pushes the breath out. Can you relax into a few more layers, just a few more breaths here, really letting go. And yoga is always this paradox, right? It's this idea of letting go in the midst of strength and stability. So there's effort in the body and yet a sense of complete softness and relaxation. Good, and then we're going to come halfway up, and then if you can get the elbows, great. If you want to go into reverse namaste, but just hover there for a few moments right in the center. And just really strengthening that back line again after all that space you just created. And then pressing equally into the feet. Inhale, come the rest of the way up. And then step the back foot forward, arms by your side, and just feel. And now the right and left side, both having been worked, creating that sense of homeostasis and balance. And even though they're simple variations of the postures, as we know, they're not necessarily simple if you're paying attention. And the base of the body here, having a lot more prana flowing through it now, and just that alone draws the mind into that region. And in Tantra, we understand that where the mind goes, the energy not naturally follows. So the healing has already begun. All right, we're going to take a slow vinyasa. So back at the front of your mat, inhale the arms, reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Nice and slow. Take your time. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose. Flat back. And then exhale, step or lightly hop back to plank position. Your choice, knees lowered or lifted, chaturanga. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, navel up and back for downward facing dog. A few breaths here, please. Now we're going to take the right leg up in the air, but not open up the hip. Keep the hip square, toes are pointing straight down, flex through the heel of the foot. So you can think of the inner thigh of that right leg lifted. And as you exhale, you're going to keep the shoulders stable. So the shoulders are not going to move, and you're going to squeeze the knee as deeply into your chest as possible. And then inhale and push the leg away again. And repeat that. Exhale, knee hugs into chest, navel goes towards the back body. Inhale away. Try to keep those shoulders stable. Exhale. Don't lean forward. Stay where you are. Just the movement of the leg in this right side of the body. 2 more. Now, on this last one, you're going to lunge that foot all the way through to the fingertips. Spin the back foot flat for warrior 1. So heel to heel alignment. Back toes are angled. Front knee is bent as you inhale. Come all the way up. Now, we're going to stay here in warrior 1, but we're going to do some stretching for the shoulder. So if you need to have a strap for cow's face arms, then please grab it and have it nearby. And of course, anything you have to use as a strap is perfectly fine. Now, hips are squared forward in warrior one, front knees bent. And we're going to take this right arm between the shoulder blades. Wiggle it up as high as you can. The left arm is going to come down, and the fingers are either going to grab or you can grab onto a strap. And then you're going to lift that left elbow as high as you can, stretching into the right just a little bit more. Now, inhale, open up that chest. Just lift the sternum, draw the shoulders down your back a little bit, and then exhale, contract the abdomen towards the back body and find a little more subtle length in the lower back. And do that again. Inhale, breathe into the lungs, expand the back bend, but then exhale, contract the abdomen, and even pull those low ribs in just slightly. Now, you might not see anything, but you'll feel it. Inhale. Exhale, pull them in. Inhale. And exhale, pull that abdomen in. Now leaning forward over that bent knee, pivot on the ball of your back foot and keeping the arms where they are. 1, 2, 3. Just step into a warrior 3 with this modified arm. Breathing here, navel hugs the back body. Flex the heel from the crown. Navel is really supporting the spinal muscles. And now lift that left leg down to the floor and release the strap. Stretching the shoulder, right arm across the chest, left arm under at the elbow. Pull the tip of the right shoulder down and away. Breathe here. Let the warmth you've just created move into the muscles. And then arms by your side, nice and stable, and feel. Okay. Vinyasa, inhale, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold, navel to spine. Inhale, halfway to monkey pose. Take it slow, no rushing. Exhale, step or lightly hop back to plank position. Knees lowered or lifted, your choice, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog. Okay, a few breaths here, please. Enjoy your down dog as we have this symmetrical pose here. So feeling both feet equal, both hands equal, really helps the nervous system to calm down. Good. Now we're going to lift the left leg up in the air. Again, toes are going to point straight down, so we're not opening that hip at all. And the key here is to try to keep the arms, hands, and shoulders nice and stable as you exhale and bring the knee into the chest so the upper body doesn't move. And then inhale, push the foot away again. And then exhale, knee to chest. Squeeze it in as much as you can. You're isolating that work. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Pull the belly button back. 1 more. As that knee comes into the chest, very gently lunge it forward to the fingertips and spin the back foot flat. So toes pointing more towards the upper right corner of the mat. Front knees bent. And inhale, arms forward. Warrior 1. And again here too, if you needed that strap for support, go ahead and grab it now. And I like to make just a little bit of a minor adjustment in Warrior 1 to make sure that my hips feel stable. So whatever you need to do there. So you can sling the strap over the right shoulder to start. And we're going to take this left arm in between the shoulder blades. So that's going to wiggle as high up as you can. Right arm comes around to grab either the fingertips, or if you'd like, just drop the strap down and grab onto the strap. Right elbow lifts a little higher, so you're elongating that right side body. And now inhale, lift the sternum. And then exhale, just in the lower part of the body. Draw the navel toward the back body. Inhale, maybe a little bit more in the back bend. Exhale, contract the abdomen. 3 more. And it's all this internal work. So you don't see maybe anything on the outside, but you're going to feel it internally. Even the low ribs, pelvic floor, everything pulling in. One more. Now you're going to come forward over that front leg. 1, 2, 3. Flex the right foot. Modified warrior 3. Keep the heart open. Breath deep. And slowly step that back foot up. You can release the strap. And this time, you're going to take the left arm, cross the right arm underneath the elbow, and pull the tip of the shoulder down and away. Breathing here. Good. Gently release. A little gentle shake of the wrists. And do this thing called a waterfall. So with the right hand, your left fingers are going to take those right fingers down, just like a waterfall going over the cliff. And slowly pull down till you get that nice sensation there. Good, and then release, and we'll do the other side. So now the left fingertips are going to go over the cliff. Just slowly like a waterfall down. Good, and then gently release. And if you're at the front of your mat, take your right leg back and open your feet to about 3.5 feet. Sometimes it's nice to extend the arms, make sure that the wrists and ankles are roughly the same length. It's a good measurement. And then we're going to move in and out of a twist. So again, twisting, another really great posture for Vata, for reducing Vata. So inhaling the arms nice and long out to the side. You're going to take the left hand towards the right foot. You can bend that knee if you need to. And we're going to rotate belly, then ribs, then chest, head and neck. And then inhale, come back up. Now we're going to go to the same side. So left hand to the right foot again. Rotate. Belly, chest, head and neck. Inhale again. 3 more like that. And you're not moving too quickly, so nice and slow with your breath. Exhale. Exhaling. You could keep that micro bend in the knee if you need it. If you're feeling more flexible, you can start to keep the legs straight. Last one. Now inhale, come back up, and we're going to go to the opposite side. So right hand to the left foot again. You can bend that knee if you need to. Fingers point towards the toes. Twist belly, chest, head and neck. And inhale, come up. Nice and slow. Exhale. Right hand to left foot again. Same side. Inhale. 3 more with your breath, please. And each time, perhaps finding just a little more room to twist. Last one. Good. Now we're going to go back to the same, to the first side. So take the left hand to the right foot. Again, that bend in the knee if you need it. Rotate, belly, chest, head, and neck. And now we're going to stay. So I want to work with your breath a little bit here. So you're going to take that full inhale in. Make sure the spine is nice and long. Bottom arm is straight. Top arm is straight. Exhale, pull everything in toward the back body and deepen the rotation. And then if it's comfortable, just a slight pause at the bottom of the exhale as you deepen the twist. And then again, inhale, full breath in. Exhale, breath leaves the body. And at the bottom of the exhale, If there's comfort in the retention, then twist just a little deeper during that hold. Good, just one more like that, please. Staying empty on the bottom of that exhale and just going a little deeper. Then press into the feet, come back up. And this time we're going to rest with the hands on the hips and just take a moment and feel. Relax your shoulders. And we'll go back to the other side. So inhale the arms long and right hand to the outside of the left foot. Now we're going to stay here. So rotate belly, chest, head, and neck. Full breath in. Exhale. All the breath leaves. And if it's comfortable, you can add in that pause at the bottom of exhale and deepen the twist. 2 more like that, please. Your breath. Feeling relaxed during the retention. Do not bring in any stress or strain. And then inhale, arms come up. And once again, rest, exhaling, hands to hips. Just take a moment. Eyes closed or soft gaze, but pleasant face. And observe for a moment the quality of mind, becoming more stable. Good. Inhale, lift your chest. Open up that front body. And now exhale, you're going to hinge from your hips and forward fold over your legs. Now here we're going to do a little more work with the bandhas. So we have options. If holding your breath out is not comfortable, we're going to do it without that. So we'll start by inhaling fingers into a finger stand, bringing the chest forward just like it's monkey pose. And then exhale, navel hugs the back body and walk the fingers back through the legs. So that can just be all you're doing. Inhaling, coming forward, walk the fingers underneath the shoulders like monkey pose, spine is long. And then exhale, the navel hugs the back body as deeply as you can though, and you're going to fold deeper through the legs. Now, if you want to go into the bandha work, you're going to inhale the fingers forward. You're going to exhale all the breath out as you forward fold. So empty completely of breath. Every last little bit of air you can get out is going to make the suction easier. Now hold the breath out, don't breathe in, and pull the navel deeply in and up under the rib cage. And when you need to breathe, full breath in, fill the back body. Repeat it again. Exhale, all the breath leaves the body, empty as completely as possible. Hold the breath out, don't breathe in, and then instead pull away and use that suction to draw the navel deeply in and up underneath the rib cage. And inhale. As the breath comes in, fill the back body. And keep going. This is a very personal practice, so do this at your own pace. Again, if you're opting out of the retention, that's perfectly fine. So at first, there might be some sensitivity there in those digestive organs, but it gets easier each time you do it. One more. And then forward fold through the legs, slide the hands down the backs of the legs and hold on to the ankles, binding the upper body as much to the chest as, as much to the thighs as possible. Head and neck just hangs, body weight forward slightly in the balls of the feet. Okay, now fingers in a finger stand. Turn the toes out, heels in, and just come into a nice deep wide squat here. Forearms are going to push the knees away, creating as much space there in those inner thighs as possible. And then release the fingertips down, heel toe the feet in one more time, and then cross the ankles and come into seated. Okay, so we're going to start with bound angle. So half bound angle here, soles of the feet together. If you need to prop your sit bones up for forward bends here, then it's best to take a blanket or bolster. Now bring your body weight forward as much as you can. We want to have that anterior tilt of the pelvis, so the pelvis tilting forward. And you can hook the index middle thumb around your big toe, or if you've got a little bit more longer arms, you can wrap your hands completely around your feet. And then you're going to sit as tall as you can, drawing the chin in slightly so the back of the neck feels nice and open. And then close your eyes. Now, going back to that breathing that we started at the beginning of the practice, inhaling, coming in and going down, almost feeling the pelvic floor expand wide, like it was melting. And then exhaling like an elevator, pulling the pelvic floor up internally through the abdomen, pushing the rest of the breath out. Just a couple more rounds like that. All the way in and down, all the way back up and out. See if you can trace the breath with your mind. Very nice. And then just gently open your eyes, and we're going to take the left leg straight out in front of us. Hand can internally rotate that thigh in and down. Make sure you have your strap nearby. You may or may not need it. If you don't have a strap, you can just place the foot to the inner thigh, and that would be fine. So a little bit of Janu Shirsasana. Or you can take your outside of your right foot into the crease of the left hip and thigh, going back into a half lotus variation here. And this is where I like to use the strap. Some of you may not need it. You could just bind without the strap, holding onto the toes. But if it is stressful for you to do so, then I encourage just using the strap instead. So we're going to inhale the right arm up and elongate the right side body. And then wrap that arm around the back and hold on to the strap. Inhale the left arm up now. Exhale, you're just going to lean forward a little bit, so just a little bit of an angle, about 45 degrees, and then inhale, come back up. So sorry, that's an exhale. We're going to exhale, leaning forward about 45 degrees, and then inhale, back up. Good. Now exhale and see if you can go a little bit further, and it doesn't matter how much farther you go, just see if the body will give in a little bit. And then inhale, back up, press into the back of the foot. Again, maybe a little more space. Keep the arm in alignment with the ear. Inhale, back up. And now this time we're going to go down to stay. So we're going to come all the way into that forward fold. It doesn't matter where your hand lands. So shin, ankle, foot, floor, whatever you're comfortable holding on to. Head and neck is relaxed here. Square the chest as best as you can while still feeling that right shoulder is opening. Imagine that you still had a block between your inner thighs. You were holding that block together. And then let the tips of the shoulder blades soften down your back. Head and neck is relaxed to the best of your ability. Breathe deeply here and let the mind grow quiet. And again, think of that Apanavayu, that quality of letting go. And sometimes I think of it almost like resistance. So can you release physical, mental, and emotional resistance? Really allowing yourself to settle requires a bit of trust. Last one. And then left arm in alignment with the ear. Slowly come back up. And we'll release. Both legs straight. Internally rotate the right thigh. And then hands beside your hips, Dandasana staff pose. All right, let's try the other side. So left foot can just go to the inner thigh if you don't have a strap or anything that you can use for a strap. Otherwise, outside of the left foot, grab onto that with the right hand and take it into the crease of the right hip and thigh. Place the strap around the foot. So inhale, the left arm up to start, elongating that side body, and then wrap that arm around your back and bind, grabbing onto the strap. Inhale the right arm up now, elongate that side body, and then exhale and fold. Just coming to that 45-degree angle, and inhale, come up. And do it again. Exhale, keep sending the heart forward, the hips back. Inhale. Exhale, now see if you can go a little further. Not through force, just through letting go. Inhale. Same thing, a little further. Last one here. And now you're going to go all the way down. And it doesn't matter where your hand lands, shin, ankle, foot, floor, whatever's more comfortable for you. And then stay here, eyes closed, head and neck completely relaxed. Breathe as deeply as you can. Each exhale sending the belly toward the back body. And again, think of this as releasing any physical, mental, or emotional resistance. Where are we holding on? Where can we let go? I mean, ultimately, as we age and we gain wisdom and true knowledge, we begin to understand that very little is completely within our control. You know, we can show up, we can do the work, but the ultimate outcome is not in our hands. This is in the realm of the divine. And so release trying to carry the weight of everything that you want to have manifest. And trust that you're in the right place. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And then slowly come back up. Take your time. You're going to release that leg, internally rotate that thigh as it comes down, and then hands on either side of the hips, Dandasana staff. Again, just resting in symmetry, enjoying that feeling. Okay, we're going to come onto our back. So hold on to the shin bones, draw the navel toward the back body, and hug the knees into the chest. And you can just rock a little bit from side to side on the spine. Good, and then hands on the knees. Just push the knees away from you to arm's distance and exhale the knees back to the chest. Just a few rounds here, just to make sure that the low back is happy. Sometimes those deep forward bends can, allow us to reach into places we haven't been for a while, and so the body just needs to remember that it's okay. And breathe into that little bit of blood flow there. Good, and then we'll take the knees to the left as you look to your right, and just bring in that little spinal twist there. Something pretty relaxing for the body. Right shoulder softens, navel sinks towards the back body. You can gaze over the right shoulder as long as it doesn't cause any strain. But now feel that deep quality of surrender. And don't fight against any sensation. Just completely let go. And now knees come to the center, take them to the right, and knees to the left. And breathing here. Just softening, let the gaze be gently over the left shoulder. And then bring the knees back to the chest. Give yourself one last final hug, and we'll prepare for Shavasana. So if you're in a cooler room, you might want to put socks or sweaters back on just to make sure that the body temperature cools down slowly. It's very important for Vata to feel warm, to have warmth. So you want to have, if you have a blanket nearby, you want to wrap yourself up in that, kind of tucking yourself in like you would tuck in a child at night. All of that helps also the Vata to feel stable and secure. So take a few moments to do that. If you have an eye pillow and you're in a lighted room, it's really great to use the eye pillow to block out the light. So just kind of tucking that blanket underneath you, legs down, arms by your side, palms face up. And then settle the body completely into the earth and feel that final relaxation as a sigh. So we'll inhale through the nose and just sigh through the mouth. And do that 2 more times. And a little sound behind the sigh helps to release grief from the lungs. So inhale. One more. And now rest. Let the lips part slightly, let the jaw relax. Feel the eyes sink towards the back of the head. So very slowly begin to deepen your breath. And just observe how the breath effortlessly moves back into the body. Unobstructed, at ease. And then move the fingers, running the thumb across the fingertips. Move the toes and maybe rotate the wrists and ankles again. And then without rushing, slowly bring the knees into the chest. Feel the spine long, tailbone away from crown. And curling onto your right side, just rest for a moment in fetal, arm under the head as a pillow. And then the left hand underneath the shoulder. Slowly draw yourself back up into seated. And if you have a bolster or blanket, you can prop your sit bones up. So with a tall spine and a relaxed body, we're going to do some Nadishodhana, alternate nostril breathing. So with the right hand, bring the index finger and the middle finger down to the mound of the thumb. And the fourth finger and thumb are pinchers. They're going to go right on the bridge of the nose, right above the nostril. So take a full inhale here first. And then exhale out through the left nostril, plugging the right. Now inhale through the left. Pause and plug both at the top. And then exhale only through the right. Inhale through the right. Pause and plug both at the top. Just hold the breath in. And exhale out the left. And we'll repeat that. Inhale through the left. Pause, hold the breath into the body, feeling more prana entering the cells, and exhale through the right. Now this time, plug and hold at the bottom of the breath. Hold in that place of being empty. Now inhale through the right. Pause, hold at the top of inhale, again visualizing more prana entering the cells. And exhale out the left. And again here too, pause at the bottom of the breath. Inhale left. Pause, hold. Whole body filled with breath. Exhale right. Pause, hold. Feel that stillness. Inhale right. All the way down to the pelvic floor. Pause, hold. Exhale left. Up and out. Pause, be still. Inhale left. Hold. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Exhale left. Hold. Now to get really still, begin to add a count. So you can inhale left, count the breath, hold at the top of the breath for the same length. Exhale right, same length as the inhale. And again, hold at the bottom of the breath for the same length. So we call this 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 breathing. Inhale again. Same length as before. Pause, hold, same length. Exhale out the left, same length. Hold the breath out, same length. Now please continue on your own. With stability through the breath, equal length, creates deep stability in the pranic, or energetic system. One more complete round. You'll know you've completed it by ending of exhaling out the left with a pause. And just lower your hand when you finish to your knee. And now see two lines of light in through both nostrils, coming to the midbrain, and two even lines of light from the midbrain out both nostrils. Just a few rounds there to see equal prana energy through both nostrils. And just one more round of that equal light. And then relax all effort and just observe. Notice the contrast in the quality of mind from when you first came in until now. The yogic teachings say a stable mind is required for clear seeing. Excessive Vata creates distraction, busyness, fragmented thinking. But lucky for us, our practice can bring us back to the stability that we seek. So as you bring your hands together in front of your heart, bow your head to your hands and just take a moment to offer gratitude for this amazing gift that we've been given. We have a tool to come back to our birthright, to pure clarity, stability, and peace. And with that, I'd just like to end with Shanti chant 3 times. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for practice. I hope that you really enjoyed today's class and are feeling the calm and the stability that we were seeking. If you really enjoy these classes, I highly encourage going to my Patreon page, which is in the link below, and signing up for one of the 3 tiers, which will give you greater access to more teachings that I have on my channel. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate you letting me continue to do what I love. And I hope that everything is serving you in return. Namaste.